some of my movies are not released, like Pukaar and all was still to come. So I had not told anyone. So when I came back, I told Boney Ji that ऐसा hai, if you don't want me to declare my marriage, I won't. I'll wait till Pukaar releases, then I'll declare it. And I told Sanjay Leela Bhansali also that I'm married, and if you don't want me in Devdas, I understand. When they were younger, now the questions are very different, but this one is funny. So I always tell people this one, that Koyla was going on TV, and my son must have been like nine-ish.
Yeah.
So it was going on, and when I left the house, I saw TV pe Koyla chal raha tha, and they were like, what's going on, And when I came back, it was done, the TV was off, and there was a little note on the computer like this, and from Arun was written on that. So I'm like, what is this? So I picked it up. It says, Mom, why are you behaving so weird in this movie called Koyla? Because that bhang ka gana was going on. We eat those bhang laddus. जैसे वो कहते थे फिल्में करती थी, बड़ी बड़ी फिल्में, तो कहते थे अभी छोटी फिल्म नहीं करनी चाहिए, आर्ट फिल्म नहीं. देयर वाज अ डिमार्केशन. एक होती थी कमर्शियल फिल्म, एक होती थी आर्ट फिल्म. तो आप वो नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि आप कमर्शियल फिल्म के बेबी हैं. एंड देन लोग शायद पसंद नहीं करें आपको रियलिस्टिक रोल्स में देखना. तो आई वॉज ऑल्सो अट्रैक्टेड टू दोज वेरी रियलिस्टिक एंड नुआंस फिल्म्स. Whenever I felt lost, or I felt anything less, of myself, or I felt that people are saying this, that, and the other, and what should I do? She always used to say, you know what, you're different, and that's what makes you unique. And you should not be here trying to fit into a mold. You should break the mold, and you should be yourself. Be who you are. Be true to yourself, and just work hard. Today they'll say you're skinny. Tomorrow, once your movie is a hit, nobody's going to say anything about that. Salman can be very naughty.
We just watch it.
And you can be like really irritated with him sometimes. Like, why are you being naughty now? See, even when I'm dancing, I'm not looking directly at the camera, or it's like, every movement means something to me. And that's what I project. It's not like, oh, now I'm doing this step, it's not that. It's like I'm feeling this way, I'm feeling beautiful, I'm feeling sensuous, I'm feeling sexy. So hotels used to be two hours away, and we were in the middle of nowhere. We just had cars. We didn't have, vanity vans or anything with us. So when you gotta go, you used to go into the jungles or Kula. The hairdresser used to just hold a shawl or something like that, find a place. These are the pitfalls at that time. But we survived all that. I won't say that nobody was hurt in the process, but sometimes some people were hurt. But finally they saw the light later. And they said, acha kiya, nahi kiya.
Yeah, and also taking a stand for yourself is important to con later.
It's important, yeah, exactly. And it's your career, it's your life, and you should choose what you want to do.
Has your family seen it, the trailer? I want to know what they think of it.
Yeah, the trailer, they've seen it. My husband like, you're scary.
Work done.
I'm like, work done. And my kids liked it too. And they were like, we're looking forward to seeing this series, because they think that it's something that's very different. I've not done this before.
Hello everybody, I'm Rudrani and welcome to Spotlight Sessions podcast. ये वही podcast है जहाँ हम आपके favorite celebrities को of course willingly, happily invite करते हैं और उनके journeys को celebrate करते हैं और ये उम्मीद रखते हैं कि उनके बारे में और कुछ नया सीखें और कुछ प्रेरणा मिले. Today, she's an absolute superstar. I am so excited to do this with her. उन्होंने स्टीरियोटाइप्स तो बहुत पहले से ही ब्रेक करना शुरू कर दिया था. उस ज़माने से है जहाँ पे शायद वैसे रोल्स मिलते नहीं थे. बट माधुरी दीक्षित हैज़ ऑलवेज बिन अ स्टार. शी हैज़ ऑलवेज बिन द क्वीन ऑफ हार्ट्स. आई एम सो हैप्पी टू हैव हर हियर. थैंक यू फॉर डूइंग दिस.
Thank you for having me.
I meant every word. Why I say that is you've been breaking the stereotypes for a while is अब तो बहुत सारे मौके हैं, बहुत सारे चीज़ें हैं जहाँ पे औरतों को उस तरह का रोल्स दिया जा रहा है, उस तरह के सब लेयरिंग हो रही है कैरेक्टर्स में. लेकिन 90s में और उसके थोड़े पहले से वो नहीं था. पर उस ज़माने में भी you were selecting some characters, you were trying to fight against the typecasting that was happening for you, and you were doing these such important, as you call it, performances oriented roles.
जी
Tell me how you managed. वो कैसे हो पाया उस समय पे? क्योंकि वहाँ पे तो और मुश्किल होता होगा.
हाँ तभी मुश्किल था बिकॉज एक बार आप जब कमर्शियल जैसे वो कहते थे फिल्में करती थी बड़ी बड़ी फिल्में तो कहते थे अभी छोटी फिल्म नहीं करनी चाहिए आर्ट फिल्म नहीं देयर वाज अ डिमार्केशन एक होती थी कमर्शियल फिल्म एक होती थी आर्ट फिल्म तो आप वो नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि आप कमर्शियल फिल्म के बेबी हैं एंड देन लोग शायद पसंद नहीं करें आपको रियलिस्टिक रोल्स में देखना लेकिन बचपन से मतलब मेरे डैड जो थे वो न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ के वो डिसाइड करते थे कौन सा रिव्यू अच्छा है तो वो फिल्म हम देखते थे सो वी यूज्ड टू एंड अप सीइंग ज़्यादातर आर्ट फिल्म्स इन द थिएटर लाइक शबाना जीज और स्मिता पाटिल और नसीरुद्दीन शाह एंड मंडी एंड दोज काइंड ऑफ फिल्म्स तो I was also attracted to those very realistic and nuanced films. Or of course, I was a commercial film baby because that's how I started my career. तो वो एक हमेशा वो मुझ में रहता था कि एक ऐसी फिल्म होनी चाहिए और also I feel कि आप एक्टर हैं तो it doesn't matter which film you're in. Your craft is the same, right? आप एक्ट कर रहे हैं आप you're showing you're honing your craft. And I think every time I did a Mrityudand or a Prahar or any of these films, I learnt a lot. फ्रॉम देम और बस इसी वजह से मैंने की जब भी मुझे ऑफर्स मिलते थे आई यूज्ड टू टेक इट एंड आई यूज्ड टू टेक इट एज अ चैलेंज
आपने कुछ फिल्मों का नाम ली और मैं कुछ आपके फ़ोटोज़ कलेक्ट कर रही थी जो दिखाऊंगी मैं आपको तो मुझे शबाना जी के साथ वो सीन याद आ गई जो आपने की थी बहुत लोग शायद कम लोगों को पता होगा एंड व्हाट अ ब्यूटीफुल जर्नी ऑल्सो फॉर यू एज एन एक्टर राइट
एब्सोल्युटली
उस समय पे आप फुल ऑन कमर्शियल आप कर रही थी एंड आई एम श्योर आपके इर्द गिर्द के लोगों ने आपको कहा होगा दिस इज़ नॉट अ गुड आइडिया
हाँ कहा था मुझे बहुत से लोगों ने कहा था कि आप क्यों कर रहे हैं ये फिल्म बट आई सेड बिकॉज वो कैरेक्टर मुझे पसंद आया इट्स अबाउट वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट इट्स अबाउट अ वुमन हु टेक्स अप द थिंग दैट आई हैव टू बी रिस्पेक्टेड इवन विद द हस्बैंड देयर इज अ सीन वेयर शी सेज परमेश्वर बनने का भूल मत कीजिए शी टेल्स हिम बिकॉज आप मेरे पति हैं सो दीज आर द थिंग्स विच आई थॉट would create an impact even for women who are in the audience and I thought these were the kind of strong roles I want to play तो मैं बड़ी ज़िद से मैंने मृत्युदंड की थी and I think I'm very thankful that I did.
No, 100% and I absolutely love that film which is why I had to mention. मुझे लगता है कि सिर्फ यही नहीं मुझे लगता है कमर्शियल जोन में भी यू स्टिल वर डूइंग दोज परफॉर्मेंसेस
Yes,
और ये
absolutely.
बहुत मुश्किल होता है
जी
क्योंकि वहाँ पे हमेशा एक लगता है कि इर्द गिर्द की स्टोरी हीरो के अराउंड है बट आई थिंक द रीज़न वाई यू फ्लू टू सुपरस्टारडम वाज you had absolutely magnetic screen presence, right? And besides screen presence, your performances were connecting with the audiences. So और उस समय पे तो लोग कहते थे कि हम और भी ज़्यादा कहते थे कि हम लोग हीरो के लिए फिल्में देखने जाते हैं बट यू ब्रोक दैट एंड that was the moment where things changed, isn't it?
जी because when I did Dil again my role was as good as Aamir's or when I did Beta the people said oh it should have been called Beti because the whole tussle between me and Arunaji who's my mother-in-law I think that was so well written and it was so much fun doing all those scenes with Arunaji that again like I said women empowerment it was about a strong woman taking a stand against a mother who was too possessive and she was also manipulative and she wants her husband to see that what his mother was when I did any of the films that I have done like Raja or even Hum Aapke Hain Koun it was there was a lot of power to the characters that I did and I'm fortunate that I got those kind of roles and I went for those kind of roles as well.
You mentioned Dil and I must say that I had a conversation with Aamir and we were discussing Dil and what I always wanted to tell you when I meet you is that because of the way you performed the things that the hero was doing was looking wrong to the audience And I think, you know, Aamir keeps saying that, you know, I have regret that the way I was approaching her, like the characters at the time. And he was telling you, उस समय पे पता नहीं वो इतनी ज़्यादा वो नहीं होती थी, you know, कि
हाँ नहीं कोई nobody thought twice about it.
yeah,
You know,
but they were
it was
problematic, right?
well, yeah, to a certain extent, but at that time I don't think so. We looked at it that way. It was like, you know how हमारे कथक डांस में भी छेड़छाड़ होता है, you know,
Correct.
ये सब तो उस स्टाइल से. But I think today, like everybody is, you know, talking about, you know, eve teasing and this and that. So I think maybe it's a little over the top at that time.
But I feel like, what I was trying to say is, but I feel like your character was calling it out, ना? उस समय पे ऐसा
Oh yes, even then.
Which is what I have said.
Absolutely, absolutely.
और इसीलिए the question was on Aamir's character, not for you, because they could empathize कि यार ये क्या कर रहा है.
Right.
And I think you brought that out. So also shows, again, that kind of awareness.
See, because I think whenever I played roles with power, there was also vulnerability, you know. So it was like a mixture of both. And I think that is what people caught on.
You know, ma'am, I always wanted to ask you this, and I'm sure you might have been asked in various versions. How do you be as secure as Madhuri Dixit was? You were at the top of your career, and you decided to go and take a break. But a reminder that you were okay to leave everything behind. Whenever I talk to people about you, they always say that she belonged to this world, but I don't think she still belonged because she used to do her own thing. And that's such a beautiful way to describe your journey here.
Right.
Because it's true. I've gone through, when I was doing my research, I realized, you know, of course you were going for these odd parties to support people like in their film launches, but apparently you used to just go back to doing what you wanted to and come back the next day on set and then just do that. And
Yes.
with your mother, of course, being such a support for you.
Yeah,
Tell me all this information that I've heard is true and how your life must have been and how did you be so secure?
I don't know. I think it's my mom. I mean, she was the one who was my backbone. And whenever I felt lost or I felt anything less, you know, of myself, or I felt that people are saying this, that, and the other, and what should I do? You know, she always used to say, you know what, you're different, and that's what makes you unique. And you know, you should not be here trying to fit into a mold. You should break the mold, you know, and you should be yourself. Be who you are. Be true to yourself, and just work hard. You know, today they'll say you're skinny. Tomorrow, once your movie is a hit, nobody's going to say anything about that. You know, so so those are the kinds of things that she used to tell me, and I think somewhere I felt, like you said, that I belonged and yet I didn't in the industry because I used to work here. I belonged because I worked, but I was never completely a part of it.
So when you said that, the skinny comments and all of that, but people would have assumed, who didn't know you then, that it must be such a nice, lovely life, you know, for you because there was so much fame around. But the kind of crazy ships that and not just you've heard, even more 90s superstars like you talk about it. And also dealing with so many things, with so many less women on set.
Yeah.
You know, doing your work, but also being very aware of the surroundings, then taking stand wherever you had to, and then going back to your life. I think it's difficult to navigate through all this. Tell me how your life was. How did you navigate through those, you know, those days that were tough? Also, being a female superstar in 90s is not all about the glamour, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. It's very hard work. It's a lot of hard work actually. And we used to do multiple shifts. So we used to do 2 shifts. There was a time when I did 3 shifts every day. So we were working hard. And it's like I was from outside. I mean, I had no one in the industry. And so every time, you know, you feel like you're proving yourself. You have to prove yourself. You have to do better. You have
Might get replaced if you're not good.
yeah, if you're not good, and but you have to, something that you have to prove to yourself too, you know, that I'm here for a reason and I'm here because I'm good. And so so that was also the drive for me, that I have to, with every shot, with everything that I did, I have to prove myself, you know. I cannot let myself down or my parents who made the decision to send me to, you know, into this profession.
Of course, you mentioned your mother. मुझे लगता है जिस तरह से आपकी माँ ने आपको बड़ा किया है, it also has added to the woman I see sitting in front of me.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, मैं तो कहती हूँ कि मैं जो हूँ वो मेरी मम्मी की वजह से है, और जो स्ट्रेंथ मुझे उनसे मिली है, मैं चाहती हूँ मेरे बच्चों को भी मैं वो स्ट्रेंथ दे पाऊँ, यू नो, टू फील empowered and to feel that, you know, you're good enough, you're good, you know.
क्या वो जो इनसिक्योरिटीज़ होती है हर औरत में होती है
जी
पर जब आप इतने बड़े सुपरस्टार हो तो रोज़ आपकी तारीफ हो रही है खूबसूरती की, बट यू आर नॉट टेकिंग दोज कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स वेरी सीरियसली, बट यू स्टिल रिमेन वन ऑफ द मोस्ट ब्यूटिफुल एक्ट्रेसेस एंड यू स्टिल आर. बट इतनी इनसिक्योरिटीज़ दुनिया आपको दे देती है ना औरत के हिसाब से, तो आप उससे कैसे जूझते हो? आई मीन ऑफ कोर्स हेल्प्स जब आपकी माँ ऐसी होती है एंड शी इज सो.
See, she always used to ground me. मतलब मैं कहती हूँ जब मैं घर में जाती हूँ ना तो मेरा सब जो स्टारडम वगैरह दरवाजे के बाहर छोड़ के जाती हूँ घर के अंदर, बिकॉज यू कांट कैरी दैट बैगेज विद यू. इट इज़ बैगेज. फॉर मी आई लव व्हाट आई डू and that is what I carry home, that I every day in the morning I wake up and I say आज ये फिल्म करनी है या मिसेस देशपांडे पे काम करना है, दिस इज़ व्हाट आई वांट टू डू. तो वो जॉय है मेरा. बाकी सब एवरीथिंग एल्स इज नॉइज, यू नो. फेम इज़ जस्ट अ नॉइज फॉर मी, बट माई रियलिटी एंड माई लव इज़ एक्चुअली माई वर्क एंड माई फैमिली. सो दैट्स हाउ आई एम ओरिएंटेड.
आई थिंक उस समय पे जब आप करियर के इतने हाई में होते हैं, विच इज़ अभी मैं अनफॉर्चुनेट बोलना नहीं चाहूँगी, शायद सबके लिए यही है, बट हमेशा सवाल हमको भी यही आता है, राइट? आप शादी कब करोगे? आई एम श्योर यू हैड टू गो थ्रू ऑफ कोर्स. हाउ डिड यू डील विद दैट? एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स finding someone like Mr. Nene, I've met him multiple times and together.
Yeah.
He is such a wonderful man. I immediately knew I would want to be with someone. That's true. That's true. Sorry. Okay. Absolutely. But I think I should know from your perspective, because does it help? Because when you talk about fame, it makes me understand why it was okay for you that you found that man that you wanted and to leave everything.
Yes.
Is that how it was for you?
For me, personal happiness was much more than, you know, what fame means to me. Everybody says, oh, you are at the peak and you just left and you went, and didn't that make you feel insecure? You won't get work after that. You know, I didn't even think of all that. Jab I was convinced that this is the man for me and I want to spend the rest of my life with him, it didn't take me even a second to say yes. And I didn't even think कि अभी मैं शादी करूँगी तो मुझे roles मिलेंगे नहीं मिलेंगे, उतना तो सोचा ही नहीं मैंने. I was like, this is something which is going to be forever for me. और मुझे लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं अगर आपको फेम और जो कुछ भी मिला है वो शेयर करने के लिए तो कोई चाहिए, यू नो. यू नीड समवन टू शेयर इट विद. यू नीड अ कंपेनियन हु रिस्पेक्ट्स यू, हु एनकरेजेस यू, हु इज़ ऑलवेज स्टैंडिंग बाय यू, एंड यू वुड डू द सेम फॉर हिम. तो जब ऐसे व्यक्ति के साथ आप मिलते हैं तो ज़रूर आई जस्ट सेड येस एंड आई गॉट मैरिड एंड देन आई हैड माई किड्स एंड इट वॉज अ ड्रीम आई हैड फॉर माई सेल्फ एंड आई वॉज लिविंग इट.
मुझे लगता है डॉक्टर नेने को जब आप मे बी व्हेन यू वर कोटिंग, आई थिंक ऑल वुमेन नो देयर इज अ मोमेंट और अ मोमेंट दैट यू नो दैट दिस इज द वन. आई वांट टू नो इफ यू नो दैट मोमेंट फॉर यू. और ऑल्सो मुझे लगा कि इतनी ब्यूटीफुल सी वो चीज़ थी कि उन्होंने आपको यहाँ पे अपने करियर के लिए शिफ्ट करना था. यू नो, दिस बिकम सच अ बिग इशू इन रिलेशनशिप्स, बट द फैक्ट दैट यू गाइज न्यू ईच अदर सो वेल, it was just such a smooth process. और मुझे लगता है that is the one of the reasons why I think your marriage is so beautiful till today.
Yeah, I mean, we, like I said, we support each other. और मेरे जो parents थे वो मेरे साथ रहते थे, and they wanted to come back. They were getting old. They said, you know, they feel out of place in the States. They want to come back to the place where they've lived most of their lives. तो वो एक चीज़ थी. Secondly, my work was here. Thirdly, my husband wanted to do something which was bigger than what he was doing at that point, which was, he said, when जब मैं किसी के ऑपरेट करता हूँ तो मैं 200, 300, 500 लोगों के मैं लाइफ सेव कर सकता हूँ, but what if I can catch them before they get sick?
Correct.
You know, so he wanted to develop something in the tech side where you can, you know, get these people early on so that they don't get into trouble at some point. तो preventive care, that's what he wanted to get into. तो वो चाहते थे यहाँ आके वो शुरू करें. और so and I think it was a great thing for my kids to come here, क्योंकि एक अपना culture, you know, and our traditions, our culture, our heritage, सब कुछ यहाँ देखने मिलता है. Otherwise they are in a bubble, you know, they don't know anything. They don't know anything about the world. तो मुझे लगा कि it was a right move for us.
When do you think, did you have a conversation about the life that you led here? कब वो moment था उनके लिए? Because वहाँ पे I know you were probably living in peace, but there must have been moments जहाँ लोग आपको recognize करते थे और then you must have thought now probably is the time that I need to.
हाँ, जहाँ मैं रहती थी वहाँ ज़्यादातर अमेरिकन लोग थे तो जब मैं पहले मिली सबसे तो किसी को पता नहीं था, हमने बताया भी नहीं ज़्यादा कुछ, आई जस्ट वॉज मिसेस नेने देयर एंड आई वॉज हैप्पी बीइंग दैट. लेकिन एक बार मेरे नेबर्स ने फ़ोन किया मुझे, बोले आई एम वेरी वरिड. बोले क्या हो गया? तो बोले एक गाड़ी है, द कार इज केसिंग योर हाउस, मतलब दे कम, दे स्लो डाउन, दे गो. सो यूजुअली पीपल वांट टू रॉब सम प्लेस, दे डू दैट. तो शैल आई कॉल द कॉप्स? So I said, no, please don't call the cops because I don't think. I said, who's in the car? They said, some Indian. So I said, no, don't worry. This is what it is, and that's why they're coming. So why didn't you tell us? So I was fine, just living there, living everyday life, and I was enjoying it. Conversations with the husband was there, ki haan, I used to do this, that, and everything. Lekin the enormity of it, he realized after we came back. Because he didn't know. He knew I was a popular actress. That's about it. He has not seen my movies. He hadn't seen anything. That's why it was so refreshing to meet him.
It must have been.
Because there was no preconceived notion, aise ki what she will be like, because I've seen her in this movie, that movie, and we just met like two people, ordinary, normal people, and struck up a conversation, and I just liked him, and I loved the way he thought about his patients, the way he was caring, the way he used to give his time to them, and so all that kind of made me realize what kind of a person he is. And
like I said before, I've met you all so many times in the red carpet together, and I've met him otherwise as well. And he just is such a cheerleader for you. You know that this is he's such a good husband and such a good man, I must say. So I'm happy for both of you. But mujhe na, before I get into more, of course, there's so many films that I'm waiting to discuss. It's very interesting that टाइपकास्टिंग अभी तक चल रही है. एक्टर्स अभी भी मुझे बोल रहे हैं कि वो, और उस समय पे तो और हो जाता था.
oh yeah.
How did you? I mean, like we were giving examples right in the beginning कि थोड़ा थोड़ा आप कोशिश कर रहे थे, बट आपको कौन से बॉक्स में फिट करने की कोशिश की जा रही थी?
Well, the usual song and dance that Madhuri Dixit है तो गाना होना चाहिए, romantic होना चाहिए, film, that way. But I think there was more to me than just that, and I thought as an actress, you should be able to play any kind of a role. Also, when you do a role, it should have some kind of an impact on people. Like they say, it's not how famous you are, but it's how, what's important is how you make people feel, And the kind of films I have done, and when I meet people today, and they tell me, Dil to Pagal hai, what you said on Valentine's, that अब मैं खुद के लिए बनाऊंगी Valentine. I don't need a boyfriend.
I love it.
Says I don't have one and I feel so good. I say yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah. Any of my films like Hum Aapke Hain Koun, says you're such a nice daughter and you are you are traditional and yet you're modern in that movie, and that's what we liked about it. Or if you look at Majama, then that film started a whole other dialogue, where people were feeling alienated from their families because of who they are. There are a lot of people who got together with their families, their grandmothers who saw the film and they started discussing, about. So I think that's the kind of impact I want to leave, and that's what I'm looking for.
And so many more, वो तो हम discuss करेंगे, and also Gulab Gang.
Yes.
An important film, and so wonderful for you to lead it the way you did. This series, Mrs Deshpande, is clutter breaking in every way. I call it clutter breaking is because the fact that you have to go so dark and kind of peel the layers of someone that you are absolutely not, obviously.
You don't know that.
No, I completely believe that. I mean, you can scare me a little bit, but I mean, of course, you're too good an actor. But also that you've never been envisioned like this before. And I love that. I love that you're taking this chance to show us, and also shows your passion, that you're like, I can do anything, anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, and the thing is that maybe for a cinema, this would have been a little difficult. We would have to convince a lot of people that this is going to work on, you never know with cinema.
I hope one day that happens.
But I think OTT has made that possible because, not just women my age, but every woman.
Of
you know,
course.
this women of every age are getting such good roles. Roles are being written with so many, different layers to it, and it's unapologetic. You're not saying, "Oh, sorry, she's like that." She's like that.
Yeah.
And this is what this woman is or that woman is. And so I think it's very empowering when you get those kind of writers who are writing for you, or directors who are ready to, take that chance and take the leap. So it's fortunate, and OTT makes that happen.
Yeah.
Also, there's so much talent we have discovered through OTT, which maybe if we just had films would not have happened. And such talented actors that you see in different roles on the different series. Even in Mrs Deshpande, every character is like amazing. And we had a great time shooting for this series. Yeah, the scary part, yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of that in Anjam, or there was a touch of that in maybe Gulab Gang, where I did my own action sequences, or everything was done by me. Similarly, here we have not used any duplicate anywhere. It was like, it has to be convincing. It has to be like, yes, she can do this. So also, I think there are a lot of layers. I cannot say anything right now
Maybe just
because
some without revealing. We are
without revealing.
ऊपर से बातें करते हैं,
ऊपर से कर रहे हैं, लेकिन ऊपर से भी कुछ बोलूंगी तो it goes into the depth of the character.
Correct.
But she is who she is for a reason, and I think as people see, and as the onion gets peeled with every episode,
Correct.
they'll see who she actually is.
Also, I think Nagesh, who's such a brilliant filmmaker.
Amazing.
I think the fact that, like I was telling you before we rolled the camera, that he wanted to do it with you. And for him, it was such an anti-casting moment. And he's like, it's going to be so much fun. Believe that filmmakers know that you can pull off a role. I think that's kind of also helps you in taking up challenges like this.
Oh, yeah. That's what I said. I mean,
Yeah.
a director was ready to take the leap. And the support. Because, see, you can't do things alone in a vacuum, right?
Yeah.
Everything has to fall into place. The writing has to be good. The direction has to be good. Your co-stars have to have that energy. And everything has to fall into place to make this thing work. And I think we have managed to do that. But, it's up to the audience now, once it comes out, what they feel about it.
I saw a glimpse of it just some time back. I think it is very good. You know what was also interesting is, of course, there are a lot of films we're going to discuss, but while we are at Mrs. Deshpande, I want this series is also giving you a chance, because when it's a series, you get to, slowly sort of peel away with the characters. वो length होता है, उतना,
Yes.
you have that luxury to do that. So the audience gets more time to connect with you also.
Yeah.
पर बहुत मुश्किल होता होगा to consistently stay like that, to be in the character like this, who's so complicated, so dark. What was your research like? Is what I want to know. What did you
First of all, I'll tell you, I love watching crime dramas, and because see, it's not just the crime that excites me. It's the drama in it. It's the interpersonal relationships. It's what makes that person go off the
psychology
edge.
of the
psychology of it, and everything. As an actor, I get drawn to that because you can see the drama happening.
Yeah.
And you can see how a person can become twisted at any point and what happens, So that was always, the case. And when they came to me with the script, first I was like, why me? Why me in this role? And then when I heard the script, I said, like I've been telling in my interviews, yes, me.
Of course, I can
I'm glad you came to me with this. Because there's a certain amount of strength, certain amount of vulnerability. There's that knack for manipulation, being tricky, just commanding like all these men in a room by just her silences, So all those kind of things we worked on. And for me, I'm not an actress who carries everything with me home,
She's good.
Because then
Problematic.
it would be very problematic. So I tend to be a switch on, switch off kind of a person, because I have it in my head. What the scene is, what the dialogues are, everything is in my head. And when they say cut, it breaks. And I can be my normal self. And when the camera is on again, I can kind of, get into the thing, the madness of it,
Has your family seen it, the trailer? I want to know what they think of it.
Yeah, the trailer, they've seen it. My husband like, you're scary.
Work done.
I'm more like work done. And my kids liked it too. And they were like, we're looking forward to seeing this series because they think that it's something that's very different. I've not done this before.
Is this a particular work of yours that they've really loved?
Well, they've seen Devdas, which they love very much. Recently, my son saw Hum Aapke Hain Koun and Dil To Pagal Hai. I think they're seeing more of my films after they've gone to college than when they were in school. Because their friends ask them, have you seen this movie of your mom? And they say no. So, what are you talking about? Come on, let's see it. And they drag them and they see the movie.
They saw Hum Aapke Hain Koun now. The world has reopened. There's so much more to explore. Must be fun. Do they ask questions after they watch it?
Yeah, they do. They ask me questions. Like I remember when they were younger. And now the questions are very different, but this one is funny. So I always tell people this one that Koyla was going on TV, and my son must have been like nine-ish.
Yeah.
So it was going on, and when I left the house, I saw TV pe Koyla chal raha tha, and they were like, "What's going on?" And when I came back, it was done. The TV was off, and there was a little note on the computer like this, and from Arun was written on that. So I'm like, what is this? So I picked it up. It says, Mom, why are you behaving so weird in this movie called Koyla? Because that bhang ka gana was going on. We eat those bhang laddus and we were all like iron. So he's like, why are you behaving so weird?
Then again, acting, convincing.
Yep.
We mentioned देवदास. मैं तो बाद में आने वाली थी. अब तो आ गया तो बात तो करनी पड़ेगी. बहुत सारे versions बने, and I'm sure बनते रहेंगे. But I think yours is always celebrated as being one of the most iconic performances of Chandramukhi. You kind of, like you already told that you don't kind of internalize it and you can switch on and switch off. But have you, when you're playing these complex characters and there is a certain grace and there's a certain understanding that you bring to them, how do you disconnect so quickly? I want to understand. And what do you keep with yourself, which helps during the performance, of course. Especially when it comes to Chandramukhi.
Chandramukhi. I think I looked at her as Meera, who loved Krishna, and she knew that he could never love her back, but she always loved Krishna, and she was like a devotee. She was a saint. She was a devotee, I would say, and that's what Chandramukhi is. She's so devoted to Devdas, even though she knows he cannot love her back. He'll never love her back.
Correct.
So it's like a selfless kind of a love. And that's what I always kept in my mind whenever I was doing the scenes or whatever. It has to be extremely vulnerable, extremely soft, extremely, giving. That was her character. And so I always had that in mind. And then, of course, the scenes accordingly change a little bit. Where she says, once she even fires him, she says, "Ye jo paisa karte ho, ye hamare talwo mein hota hai," and all that. But yet, in her, even when she is like getting angry at him or something, there's an amount of the softness comes back, and everything. So I think
very tricky.
It's tricky, but that's the fun of it. When the emotions are like in between, that's the fun of.
What is your favorite Devdas scene with Shah Rukh? So many.
Yeah, so many of them. But there's one particular where we break down and then we suddenly start laughing.
Correct. Because you kind of also understand each
Yes,
other.
we're helpless. I mean, it's a hopeless situation. There's nothing he can do about it because he's so much in love with Paro. And there's nothing she can do about it because she loves him, but he's in love. So that scene was amazing.
But it must have been wonderful to have someone as Shah Rukh as a collaborator. He always tells that he's been so lucky to have, had you as a collaborator in some films. You've given us some amazing movies together. Yes. So I want to understand that, how was it to have someone like that who exactly understands the passion that you share and work on films? And what is your favorite Madhuri SRK film and why?
Oh my God. I think it'll easily be Devdas and Dil To Pagal Hai, 2 movies.
Tell me why.
Actually, also Anjam. Some portions of Anjam. Because, the kind of action we had in the film, I think I learned a lot from him in those action sequences. And during Anjam, we used to discuss, because we were doing Koyla and Anjam. And I said, we've done Anjam together, where we're just hitting each other, we're all bloodied and we are like at each other's throats. Then we did Koyla, where we are running away, we are going through mud and keychad and getting leeches all stuck to our legs. And I said, we have to do a very nice, sweet, simple, romantic film, together. We're just discussing it. And then Dil To Pagal happened. And I was so thrilled because he's also such a great romantic hero, when he romances a heroine, you feel, he's really in love with this. And I just love the idea of romance, So even Dil To Pagal Hai was a wonderful film to do with him. I think I've done some good films with him.
You've done very good films, which is why they're good. There are iconic. The thing is, there are so many of your work that I have always admired and liked so much that I'm trying to fit it on in, but we will try. But this is not the end of the great work that we are talking. We have, when you said I'm a romantic person, yes, of course, you've done some beautiful romances. How can we not bring up Hum Aapke Hain Koun?
Yes.
But interesting, right? I think you're also young, but you also bring that understanding to romance. So, लोगों को लगता है ना romantic movie करना बहुत easy होगा. But it comes with so much of its own complications, right? Because there are parallel tracks happening, Hum Aapke Hain Koun, and but also,
like Hum Aapke Hain Koun was a movie which was amazingly written, but sometimes what happens is it can sound trite, if you don't do it right.
Correct.
It can sound little too mushy, you could say, or it might sound not how do you call it, sincere. And so we had to really walk that line where you meant everything you said. It was so important. You're not saying it because it's written, but you mean everything that you're saying. And so we really had to, take care of that. And of course, the directors are always there to guide you and everything. But that was the first thing I kept in mind, that everything has to be like from the heart, whatever I say.
Of course, I spoke to Renuka ji, and she was telling like it was such a nice set to be a part of.
Yes.
She was saying such a safe set to be a part of. And also the fact she was talking about how both of you were also so inclusive towards her. Salman being the playful person that he was, and I have a feeling the chemistry also became so easy because you all were friends. I think you all became friends then. Am I right? Does that, and how does that really, doesn't that help to kind of create that sort of ease on screen?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because, Salman can be very naughty.
Which is what she did.
And you can be like really irritated with him sometimes. Like, why are you being naughty now? There's an important scene. Like, stop doing this, like that. So all those kind of things, helped to have that naughty relationship between the two of them. Like, he's always teasing her. She's always like, no, what are you doing? Mummy, like, daddy, So we could do all that because it was a great camaraderie.
And I think that friendship has lasted. Whenever he meets, he's just like one of my favorite co-stars. And I think that warmth also comes from the respect I think you have for each other.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. And we don't have to be in touch all the time talking on the phone or something. But whenever we meet, it has always been, that has been the thing, that there's warmth, there's respect, there is genuine, liking for each other.
And I think same with Shah Rukh, right?
Yes, absolutely. I got along famously with everyone because I never got into any kind of thing. We worked very well.
And you say that, I feel like abhi nahi hota hai, but most actors have told me that it used to be excruciatingly painful for people to only pit female actors against each other. For example, you forever had comparisons with Sridevi, but you were always so respectful towards her. I have a photo also where, which I'll just wrap towards the end, I'll show it to you, where you've gone to the Roop Ki Rani Choro Ka Raja premiere, and and you all are chilling and laughing. But the world is making such a different picture. No, there's competition. But you all have always been so kind to each other, right? There has always been such a beautiful.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there was no reason to be otherwise disrespectful or anything. I think she was also someone who worked hard at whatever she does, and I was the similar way. So I think we recognize that in each other.
But like I said, they love writing cat fights because I think they don't want women to get along. Whereas when women get along, you can't break them.
Yes, absolutely.
And we can win the world. I want to tell this story because it is fitting in this narrative that I'm going with. I spoke to Meenakshi Seshadri, and she spoke so lovely about who you are as a person, because उस time पे क्या होती थी, men firstly used to be irreplaceable. जब आपकी stardom हुई, then you became irreplaceable in a role, and it was not easily replaced. But women used to be easily replaced. Like यहाँ किसी को भी ले लो ये. I remember Damini, there was issues when you didn't do that role in solidarity with her. And she told me, I will never forget that. And I said, that is a woman's woman. That's a girl's girl. I want to talk about that. It just shows who you are.
Yeah, what happened was there was some misunderstanding. I don't know what was there.
Yeah.
So they came to me and they said, "Oh, this has happened, and we want you to do this movie." But I said, "You know what? She has done the film. If you guys can somehow, reconcile, because there's some films that come with a destiny, and she was destined to do this role." And I said that if you can do it, then that'll be great. You don't have to, first of all, shoot everything again. And, it's her role. And if that happens, it'll be wonderful.
But people rarely do that. And she remembers it till now. I think it was... No, really. She said, by the way, this is not just that. I know that you've been very, very friendly, and you've been extremely protective of your female co-stars.
Yes, sir.
Because Renuka ji herself told me that, I never knew, but Madhuri had told me that, I have spoiled my skin. I used to not drink water because washrooms nahi hote the.
Yes.
Us conditions mein aap log ne kaam kiya hai. And she told me how you gave her not like a warning, but told her that, figure this out. You have to figure out a way. And even if you have to go and do it in the open, do it, but take care of yourself. And she remembers it again, saying that shows the kindness and the spirit of the person who you are, which is why I wanted to mention it. I want to talk about that, right? The conditions you all worked in, and of course, what Renuka ji said.
Yeah, I mean, we used to go for outdoors in Ooty, and there used to be like the hotels used to be two hours away.
Yeah.
And we were in the middle of nowhere. We just had cars. We didn't have, vanity vans or anything with us. So when you gotta go, you gotta go. We used to go into the jungles or Kula. The hairdresser used to just hold a shawl or something like that, find a place. But if you don't do that, then you're just not drinking water, and you're just spoiling your health, and these are the pitfalls at that time. But we survived all that, and we enjoyed, in that role. We never even thought that aisa hona chahiye, we were just, that was the way we lived at that time, and that is how things were. And so even within all those elements, we still had fun, and we enjoyed making movies and everything. But yes, I mean, these are the kind of things when a newcomer comes, maybe they don't know about these things, and because you have experienced that, you just say ki, hey, you got to watch out for all this.
Even if the characters are problematic, not in the other kind of a way, like for example, a serial killer can be problematic, right? Is obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that, but whenever you have these complex roles, jahan pe you have to be like negative, I feel a lot of actors say, I figure out a point where I can connect to have a little empathy with her. It helps us, because from my vision, I have to look from my character's vision and not what I feel about who she is. Did you do that for Mrs Deshpande? I am not asking you to have connect with serial killer, please don't. But is there a moment or a quality that you found very interesting in her, which kind of only enhances your performance?
Yes, there's a quality to her, but I cannot talk about it because that's part of the larger part of the story.
Okay.
But when people see it, they will understand why she is and who she is.
Okay, fair enough. But have there been such characters that you like you said Anjam, you said such. Have you found a point where you could make it work for you? Where you have to have that kind of empathy for her, for the character.
Well, even for Mrs Deshpande, you have empathy because I know her story.
Correct.
People don't know it yet, but I know her story, and maybe what she did was like a little too extreme, but
there's reasons for it.
Yeah, exactly. So every whatever character you play, I think finally it's a human being, and maybe it's a human being that's misled. Maybe it's a human being that's that cannot control herself, or maybe it's a human being um, that's been like bogged down by society, and now she's kind of saying, okay, I'm going to get even, or so. There's so many things happening in life, and there's so many different kind of parameters that could be that made that character who she or he is.
Today they talk about, and I'm very happy that is happening. A lot of female actors, they come out and say, when they don't want to do something uncomfortable, or they want the character to be a certain way, they stand up and they fight for it. A lot of people have always told me that you've done this for yourself for a really long time, and it was the hardest time to do it. Taking a stand for yourself, saying no to things that you don't want to do, that makes you uncomfortable, or the roles that you think are not going to add too much to you. When you are doing that, what is going through your mind? Because it's an egoistic world. When you say no, you'll get less.
Yeah, and it's not that people didn't get hurt. Maybe people did get hurt when I said no, and but somehow when you say no, there's an explanation to it. So as long as you give that explanation, say, hey, this is what I think of this character, or I've played this before, and it makes no sense doing it again. So those kind of things, and I won't say that. Nobody was hurt in the process, but sometimes some people were hurt. But finally, they saw the light later, and they said, "Acha kiya, nahi kiya."
Yeah, and also taking a stand for yourself is important to con later.
It's important, yeah, exactly. And it's your career, it's your life, and you should choose what you want to do.
I've heard Tezab kind of gave you that moment ki I think now I have become big. Is that the moment? Like after
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I felt like, oh, I have arrived.
Because people were like,
my journey started now.
I think you were kind of in a crowd had gathered and all of that had happened, right?
वो तो बाद में हुआ बहुत. लेकिन the first time I realized I'm being recognized is when I landed. I was not here when Tezab released, so I didn't know that, and I came here 1 week after the release, and the film was already a big hit. And I came at the airport and people were whispering, and I'm like, why are they whispering? And why are they like looking at me? Why are they talking like that? And then I stepped out and there was these 2 little kids who were like, with rags, and they used to come and clean your car and look at me, hey, ek do teen, and they came running to me and they said, autograph chahiye. So I said, okay, and I gave them autograph. My name is M, obviously Madhuri, and Mohini is M.
Yeah.
So I signed my thing and I gave it to him, and he looked at it and says, M, dekh. Maine bola na, Mohini hai, Mohini, like that. So that's when you realize, oh my God, I'm recognized.
I mentioned, obviously, ek do teen, but I have to mention Sarojji. We've lost such an important person in the film industry. I think Sarojji, to hear her interviews, everybody knows you were absolute favorite. Abhi ab to sabko hi pata hai. And there's something that she said about the grace and the expressions ki kitna sahi hai that you understood, which not everybody did. You would never make anything look vulgar, whatever the step might be. And of course, you're trained, but tell me, how was that process for you in understanding? Because the numbers that you've given us, whether it's ek do tin, whether it's, even ghagra, whether it's anything, you think of the kind of course, Hara Rang Dala, I mean, epic. There are so many numbers like that. There is that grace, and she's right. There is not one moment that you think it's vulgar, and that's difficult. Tell me, explain to us your understanding of that.
Because I think I bring dance to it. I don't bring, like when you do classical and you've learned classical, Shringar hota hai ras, and so I bring that. I don't think when I'm dancing, I'm like, see, even when I'm dancing, I'm not looking directly at the camera, or it's like, every movement means something to me. And that's what I project. It's not like, oh, now I'm doing this step, it's not that. It's like I'm feeling this way, I'm feeling beautiful, I'm feeling sensuous, I'm feeling sexy. So it's that feeling that I convey, not the physicality of it, but the more spirituality of it than, Sorry, I'm sounding.
No, I love this answer. But
Yeah,
it makes sense for me, because this is a discussion for a while. You'll see a lot of discussions on it, and like I said, I used to think Sarojji's interviews also were so interesting, and I used to hear it. And she really understood who you were, I feel.
Right.
Yeah. Am I correct in saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And we both understood each other. And she was someone who could never make any woman look bad, you know. Sensuous, sexy, yes, everything, but never, never bad. So I think I had that kind of faith on her.
Which is fantastic. You know what I also think? After all of this, of course, there were performances that were obviously happening and all of that. You were also winning awards, but you were still very silent with what you were doing. I don't think there was a lot of noise that you were making, and was it?
I think I still don't make a noise.
Which you still don't. That is true. That is true.
Right.
But was that important for you? Was the external validation not that important that way?
No, I mean, it's always important. You get awarded, and you're rewarded for your performances. You know, if you are like nominated for 19 times for Filmfare, I mean, it says something about you are winning it for. So I think it says a lot, but I don't think it's end all. I think what I like most is like how the fans love me, and when they tell me about, like I said, the impact, like this happened and then that happened, and we fell in love when we were watching Dil To Pagal Hai, and we were in the theater and we met there, and this has happened. So those kind of stories like really give me a lot of happiness, and I feel, oh, there's some impact in somebody's life what I did.
Apparently, people were also intimidated because you were so good with your dance and everything. There's a story about how Aamir was like, "Bhai, I don't want to do this in Dil with Madhuri because she's too good." Is it true?
I don't know. You ask him.
I mean, I have to, but he has. But there were so many stories that you hear about how people were like, "We have to share screen with her and do this dance with her." No, let's reduce it. Let's reduce it.
But all my dances with all my female co-stars or male co-stars, they have been popular. Very, very popular. Whether it's Ash or whether Karishma, the dance of Envy, and with Manisha. I've danced with so many of them, and it's all like been
collaborations.
Yes, collaborations.
But I mean, especially since you went Dola Rola, how much fun was that?
Hey, it was so much fun. Oh my God. And me and Ash used to look at each other. अभी भागना है, वहाँ से कूद के वहाँ आना है. You have to be there on time. And there used to be trolleys and all. You're running over them and jumping over them and trying to get. But I mean, it's amazing. Even today, I look at the dance and I'm amazed at how it was shot and so beautifully done.
So because I have less time, but I thought it'll be easy to do the pictures. I'm going to show you a few pictures, whatever your memory is during the time, whatever comes to your mind. Are you ready?
Yeah, some things I won't recognize, I warn you.
It's not possible.
Oh, of course. Ek, do, teen. How can I forget this? Yeah, I mean, we rehearsed a lot for this song, and once I was on the set, I could concentrate on, because dancing on stage is very different from dancing on camera. And that's when I learned how to dance for the camera and how to do Bollywood dancing. That's
okay. Very happy, very cute.
Oh, this was Ram Lakhan.
Do you have a core memory?
I really don't know when this picture was taken, but because there's Jackie and Anil, I guess it's Ram Lakhan.
Ram Lakhan. Okay, but that also must have been such a.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was so nice because there's Anupam Kher and Satish Ji, and their scenes together. Me and Anil and our relationship with the dad being in the middle all the time. It was so nice.
I had to show this because look at you. It's your first film?
Oh, yes, Abodh. That's my sister and one of the actors, I think, in the movie. And Hirenda in the lower picture, my other sister. What was her name? She was playing my friend in the movie. And I think Leela Ji, what was her name? She's played so many characters in movies. So she was there.
But do you remember the first shot?
The first shot, we had actually done an little outdoor stint.
Sure.
Where the song, Oh Phoolon Ki Daliyon, that song, we were picturizing that a little bit. We did a little bit of that so that I'm at ease for the camera, and then we started shooting the scenes.
So cute. But brings back memories, when you look at it, so pretty. That's so cute. But look how young you were. It must have been so intimidating also to come to a world like this.
Yeah, but I think the good thing about it was I have never I was never like someone who wanted to be in films. So that's why for me it was not so intimidating.
Yeah. You were studying microbiology.
I was studying microbiology, and I did abode in the 12th vacation, and then I went back to microbiology. But also the Rajshri Productions, I mean, they are such good people. The Raj Babuji and Tarachand Barjatya ji, they used to treat me like their daughter, literally. So for me, it was like I was
So cute.
like a lark. I was doing this movie.
I mentioned this during the interview.
Oh yes,
lovely.
this was
Isn't it?
some Muhurat, na?
I think this is the premiere of Roop Ki Rani, who showed up for.
Right. Roop Ki Rani premiere. Okay.
But how lovely, which is what I'm saying. You, I think the pratha of I will show up for my colleagues also is proof of that. Which is why I want to show a few pictures. You've been there for a lot of them, supported them.
Absolutely.
This I think you'll remember. Of course you will. I like how you're laughing.
Oh, if I don't remember this, please.
Then it'll be trouble. And if Dr. Nene sees this interview, you will have a chat.
Yeah, you bet.
But I love the way you dressed up even then. Of course, I have a picture of you had posted that picture also with the entire Marathi.
That was the shadi.
Marriage, the shadi.
This was the reception.
But how simple those times were.
Yeah,
and how gorgeous you look with that
thank
simplicity.
you.
Were you at that time? Already had it settled in that you were okay with the world that you're going to be in, and you're going to. Had that already settled in?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had already got married in October 17th, and then some of my movies had not released, like Pukaar and all was still to come. So I had not told anyone. So when I came back, I told Boney Ji that aisa hai, if you don't want me to declare my marriage, I won't. I'll wait till Pukaar releases, then I'll declare it. And I told Sanjay Leela Bansali also that I'm married, and if you don't want me in Devdas, I understand. Because I'm married, and people used to say married women don't get.
Seriously.
So he said, okay, let me think about it for 2-3 days. So he thought about it, came back. I can't imagine anybody else
Exactly.
playing Chandramukhi.
Can't happen.
So yeah. So then finally, on 4th November, I think we declared.
I had to show your Filmfare Award.
Oh, that was
And
the
you
first one.
got gorgeous
hair, all curly.
And I love it. It's beautiful. And how proud you are. It's for Dil.
Yes, it's for Dil. It's for Dil. And I was very, very happy and proud. And when they gave me the trophy, I was so surprised at the weight of the trophy. It was so heavy. And we were supposed to hold on to it and give a kind of a speech. And I remember just like, I didn't know what to say. I was feeling so shy. Yeah, I remember.
I found a very old picture.
Yeah, this was Zindagi Ek Jua, I think.
I think so.
It was from
But I loved these pictures.
Yeah.
So I went
The old black and white ones are like, there are some like mystery and.
Like I found this.
Oh, that's Sajan. Yeah.
That's
This
really
was the first day, I think, when it was announced.
Really?
The first day of Sajan, yeah.
It must have been fun though, with both of these.
Oh, yeah. And wahan pe bhi, like, because he's playing like a handicapped person. So everybody was like, अरे ये तो picture चलेगी नहीं. Action hero को ऐसे बना दिया आपने, शायर बना दिया, and this and that. But, everybody was proved wrong.
The reason of me showing these pictures obviously comes from a point of view that it's very less time to probably show the kind of work you've done, but we celebrate it when we see it. I think leaving behind a legacy is what you're doing.
Yes, absolutely.
This is my wrap in the next 5-6 minutes. So I have to ask you, what are the few roles that changed your life?
I think every role changed something for me.
Okay.
Changed the perspective, say, or the way I looked at myself. It also changed my choice of roles, and I think every time I played something, I always wanted to go a step ahead from what I've done. So I always wanted to grow. I always wanted to try something new. And sometimes, you learn some emotional kind of a thing that, oh my God, I didn't know I had this in me, Like I remember Tezab, I had to do a scene where my dad has locked me up for a very long time, no water, nothing, and I'm waiting for Munna to come. And finally he comes to rescue me, and I go mad, I go crazy. And I just froze. I said, I'm not that person. I don't start screaming, shouting and all that. That's not me. I'm very calm. In the worst situations, I can be extremely calm. But he said, no, just don't worry about it. But there's something about it that holds you back, and you're like, oh God, am I doing this? And then he just goaded me on. He said, देखो ऐसा करना है, and he just did something, and I said, okay, just give me 10 minutes. So I just sat and I said, okay, take, and you have to break that thing, that something holds you back because you are not that person, and just break that thing. And I broke that threshold, and I just did that scene and just couldn't come down after that. I was just crying, sobbing, shaking, because I've never been like that,
course.
And they had to just say, it's okay, chai lao, ye karo, wo karo, and all. And then somehow I learned something through that. That is okay. It's okay to let go sometimes. And that helped me a lot when I did the, hey, Hariya, chal, that scene I've done in Beta, or so many scenes, even in Dil, when I confront the father and I say, मेरे हाथ काट दोगे तो मैं पैर काट दोगे, सर के बल जाऊंगी, all those. So it's like something just said, let go, So you learn sometimes.
And motherhood does something absolutely opposite.
Oh yes, motherhood teaches you patience of another level. Also the fun of being a mother, the kind of responsibilities you have. You're responsible for another life. You're responsible to, make it, like, give it your all, kind of make sure they're all right. And, so you're not the center of the world anymore. They are the center of your world.
Absolutely. I ended by asking you, a lot of people look up to you. They sometimes feel, and there's a whole thing called Madhuri Dixit banna chahti hu. But what would you like to tell the young actors who are entering this world today, in this world of social media, in this world of paparazzi, that which you kind of still very smoothly navigate and be your own? So how can they be their own Madhuri?
I think, don't try to fit into a mold. Be yourself. And if you're different, you're unique. So play to that. And like I said, why was Madhuri Dixit Banna Chahti Hu done? Because even though I was in this world and everything, but my core never changed. At the core, I'm the same person that I was. So be yourself, keep yourself, and don't be afraid of failure. It's okay to fail once in a while, because that teaches you a lot. Think of it as a teaching point, the failures, and keep reinventing yourself.
So wonderful. I can listen to you on and on. You're so good. But thank you for taking us through this wonderful journey of yours.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being patient, and thank you for being who you are.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me on.
Of course. And we are cheering for you, and we're cheering for Mrs Deshpande. We love what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.